I didn't know that morning would be the last time we'd wake up as us. The sun came through the curtains the same way it always did, soft, almost careful, like it didn't want to disturb what was already breaking. You were still asleep beside me, your back facing mine, that space between us. It had been growing for months, but that morning it felt louder than words. I watched you breathe, slow, steady, and I wondered how two people could share a bed and still feel completely alone. We used to wake up laughing, fighting over who stole the blanket, making plans before our feet even touched the floor. Now, we woke up quiet. I got out of bed first, not because I wanted to, but because staying felt heavier. In the kitchen, I made coffee out of habit. 2 cups. I always made two, even when we stopped talking, even when love started sounding like a memory instead of a promise. You walked in a few minutes later, hair messy, eyes tired, still beautiful, just distant. You said, "Morning." I said it back, and that was it. No kiss, no smile, just two people pretending this wasn't the moment we'd been avoiding. We sat across from each other, hands close but never touching. I stared at the steam rising from my cup, buying time, because once the words were spoken, there would be no undoing them. You finally asked, "Are you okay?" And I almost laughed. Because how do you explain that you miss someone who's sitting right in front of you? I said, "I don't think we are." You didn't look surprised. That hurt the most. You nodded slowly, like you'd already rehearsed this conversation 100 times in your head. "I feel it too," you said. Silence followed, the kind that screams. I wanted you to fight for us, to say we could fix it, to lie if necessary. But you didn't, and neither did I. We talked about everything and nothing at the same time. How we stopped listening, how love turned into routine, how we were happier in the beginning when we had less but felt more. You said, "I don't know when it changed." I did, but I didn't say it out loud. It changed the first time we chose comfort over effort. The first time we said later instead of now. The first time we assumed love would survive without being fed. I asked, "Do you still love me?" You paused. Not long, but long enough. "I care about you," you said. And that was the answer. Because love doesn't hesitate. Love doesn't downgrade itself to something safer when it's scared. We decided to end it quietly. No yelling, no blaming, just honesty wrapped in heartbreak. You went to pack a bag. I stayed behind, walking through the apartment like a ghost. Every corner held a version of us. Movie nights on the couch, dancing in the kitchen, arguments that ended in apologies and kisses. I realized then, love doesn't disappear. It fades, slowly, until one day you notice it's gone and you can't remember exactly when it left. You came back with your bag over your shoulder. You stood by the door, hesitating. "Can I hug you?" you asked. I nodded. Your arms felt familiar, too familiar. For a moment, everything in me wanted to pretend this was just another goodbye for the day. But this one was different. This one didn't have a return time. You whispered, "I'm sorry." So was I, for all the times I didn't say what I felt, for expecting you to read my mind, for staying silent when I should have spoken. When you left, the door closed softly. No dramatic slam, no final look, just quiet. And that somehow hurt more. The days after were strange. Pain doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just sits with you, sharing space. I reached for my phone constantly to tell you something funny, something sad, something normal. Then I remembered you weren't mine to tell anymore. Healing didn't come fast. Some nights I missed you so much it felt physical. Other nights I felt relief, and that confused me. But here's what I learned. Sometimes love ends not because it wasn't real, but because it stopped growing. And letting go isn't failure. It's choosing honesty over pretending. I still wish you well. I still hope you find happiness. Just not with me, and that's okay. Because some people aren't meant to stay forever. They're meant to teach us what love should feel like and what it shouldn't. Soft pause. That morning wasn't the end of love.